I'm on the campus of GCC right now, and this is an important spot for me. I'm standing next to the building where it was in 1989 or 1990. I was a student here at Glendale Community College, and I was in this classroom right here studying philosophy. And the philosophy professor came in the first day and began to talk about two different kinds of religion, two different models, and I could tell right away he was very antagonistic to that which I held to as being a Christian. He went to the board, for example, and he began to write on the board a number. He had three different chalkboards we had chalkboards back then. And wrote a number, and he followed it by 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 across three chalkboards, so this astronomical number. And he looked at the class and he said, how many of you have friends that deserve to be tortured for this long in a fiery furnace? And of course, nobody raised their hand. And he then began to ask, well, some of you actually believe, there's some religions that believe that God is going to send people to a hell, and this is just a fraction of the years that they'll spend in that being tortured. How many of you have friends that deserve to be tortured for that long in a fiery hell? And I'm in the class and realizing this is obviously a challenge to what I believe, and nobody raises their hands, including me. I was embarrassed. I didn't, even though I had the rudiments of an answer to that question that I knew he wouldn't accept, but at least I felt comfortable with, I didn't feel comfortable sharing it because of fear. I was just ashamed of the belief in that moment, and really ashamed of, I think, ultimately Jesus Christ, who taught such a thing. I remember I left class that day following this particular path I'm on the campus, and it was just as if God's Spirit just was pressing upon my conscience. I mean, the thoughts of everyone who shall confess me before men, I will also confess him before my Father who is in heaven. But whoever shall deny me before men, I will also deny him before my Father who is in heaven. In that passage, those words nailed me on my conscience right here at this spot. I'm looking around right outside the library, and I knew that I had sinned against Jesus. I had not been able to stand for what his truth was, and I felt utterly ashamed, and I confessed my sin right here at this spot, and asked Jesus, Lord, would you please forgive me as you forgave Peter for denying you? And Lord, if you'll give me another chance, I'll speak for your name in that classroom. Well, God's gracious. He's kind. And I did have a chance to speak about his name many times in that classroom after that. But it was the failure and that moment of both conviction and grace in that spot that was amazing to me and has set trajectory for my life in terms of his kindness to me. I often think as I'm on the campus here and I walk past that spot multiple times during the day, and there's rarely a time that goes by that I don't think about that moment of the kindness of Jesus, and I get to be on this campus ministering in his name and to speak the name of Jesus to students on this campus. So I thank Jesus for his kindness to me, for his grace to me, because he did a work in my heart and my life in this very spot on this campus that I hope he'll replicate in other students' lives. Thanks.